All right. So appreciate you, Coach, jumping on here. Coach Cornejo from Prairie View A&M. Appreciate you jumping on. How you doing today?
Good, good. Thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I know that this is an exciting time of year and exciting time for you individually, man. Just starting with the role there at Prairie View. So new coaching staff getting rolling. How's things looking for you guys so far this fall?
Good, good. We started official team practice about a week ago, and
Hmm.
we're rolling out along, installing all our stuff, and excited on the direction we're going. Obviously, it's a lot of new faces,
Yeah,
new to everybody, coaching staff, players. So just kind of putting our culture and our stamp on it and get this thing rolling.
I love it. So you guys are obviously getting a little bit of a later start, kind of summer, yourself just kind of getting in here in the last month or so. But talk a little bit about, kind of getting the roster sort of put together for you guys there with kind of, maybe not a lot of time as far as recruiting goes and so forth. How is it looking? How you guys kind of constructing the roster? How's that all coming together for you?
So our head coach Daniel Dillon, he got the job I think July 31st.
Yeah.
So we were kind of stuck behind the eight ball
Hmm.
with guys coming and going and just
Yeah.
trying to maintain the roster. And luckily, there were some portal guys
Hmm.
still available that could come in and help. And I think we did a pretty good job with
Cool.
some fifth year guys that are going to be able to at least get us through year one and be
Yeah.
productive. And so, yeah, I think, 10 years ago, we might have been stuck behind the eight ball, but
Yeah.
luckily we got some talented guys in here and a couple junior college guys to
Hmm.
come help out. Uh, and Coach Dew did a really good job of just keeping the talent along the roster as well.
Did a lot of guys that were returning players from the previous seasons, a lot of those guys kind of stick around too, and so maybe some good culture from those guys sticking around as well.
A majority.
Yeah,
We lost a couple,
cool.
but a majority
Okay,
of them stuck around.
cool.
We were fairly young coming
Yeah,
in, but there was older on the back end. So I think some guys with some graduation stuff, and it just made sense for them to stick it out.
awesome, good stuff. So, you yourself coming out of a junior college background, I think our families, there's a lot of questions sometimes around the junior college route, and you as a player. A lot of years coaching now, kind of coming into it. What have you kind of taken from your junior college coaching experience, and how are you going to kind of utilize what you've learned there as you're getting things going there at Prairie View?
Obviously, it's a little different. I feel like
Yeah.
we're a lot further behind because we just
Hmm.
don't have as much time. But
Hmm.
um, the junior college route, I think, especially in today's world, is becoming more and more prevalent just
Hmm.
because of you're on the field
Hmm.
right away. Um, the only way you're going to get better is to play baseball, to
Hmm.
gain college at backs, college experience, and really figure out. Like my favorite part about it is you learn how to be a dude. You
Hmm.
learn what it takes every day, routine, you know, uh, the schedule, the grind of it. It's baseball's an everyday sport, and it
Hmm.
it wears on you. And so we love junior college guys. We're going to recruit them hard and heavy.
Hmm.
Um, but it's been interesting jumping into this world. Just I feel like we're
Yeah.
unprepared when I lay my head at night because it's just a whole different world for me.
For sure. Do you kind of feel like, and I've had some other junior college coaches on before, and I've asked them a similar question, but do you kind of think there's something different about that junior college transfer versus that 4-year transfer guy that you might be maybe talking to coming out of the transfer portal? What kind of differentiates just sort of the makeup of those junior college guys versus maybe talking to that transfer portal guy?
I think they've done it. Like,
Yeah.
the arms went out there and walked the first two and had to figure out how to get out of it.
Hmm.
Or um, the bat's got 1,000 college at bats. He's got
Hmm.
100 his freshman fall. He's got 200, 300 his freshman spring. He goes out and plays summer ball, and then he
Hmm.
does it all over again. And that dude's going to roll in with 1,000 college at bats. And there's a lot that comes with just the experience of that. They've
Hmm.
seen it. They've done it. You know, whether it be executionally or when they need to be in the cage, when you need to take a day off. Just little stuff like that goes a long ways and uh, throughout the season to be
For
a
sure.
productive player.
For sure, for sure. I mean, we tell our families all the time that, especially in today's recruiting, and you've seen it, of course. College baseball is just getting older. right? And guys are hanging around longer than ever before. You played a while ago. I played much earlier in the past, or
Right.
later in the past than you did as well. Things have changed a lot in the last 5, 6, 7 years. So getting that experience, as you said, is huge. And sometimes your initial spot may not be where you end up, right? So just kind of talk about is sort of, for families who are going through this process and kind of have those concerns about, man, what if we don't find that right fit right away? How things have changed a little bit these days.
1,000%.
Yeah.
It's not only baseball in his life. Like, how many times have you told yourself, man, I wish I knew that when I was 19 years old? Baseball is the exact same way,
Yeah.
right? There's not as much anxiety when you're
Mm-hmm.
22 and there's a runner at third less than two, and you got two strikes on you.
Yep.
You went and figured that out in junior college. And yeah, and just the maturity of it too. When you're 19
Mm-hmm.
going up versus 24-year-old, you know, that guy's put in a lot of work, and
Absolutely.
he's not going to be denied. And uh, obviously, there are some talented young men that can do it for sure. But
Absolutely.
um, yeah, that experience and that knowledge, and just you've done it, you've seen it, you've failed before. Um, that's that's a big piece of
Yep.
this game. So uh, yeah, I think I would be more open to it. I also think it's a great option um, to get your prereqs out of the way, because I was a
Mm-hmm.
guy, like, I thought I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and I got to college and got a semester in, and I'm like, I don't like this at all. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it just
Absolutely.
gets the basics out of the way, gets the prereqs out of the way, and
Mm-hmm.
gets you an idea of direction of what you want to do with your life and where you want to go, because we don't all have that figured out when we're
Absolutely.
18, 19 years old.
And the reality is that at a lot of 4-year schools, and we're talking all levels now. I mean, especially Division 1, but Division 2, Division 3, NAI. It's really hard to step on campus now as a freshman and play, right? It is really
1,000%.
challenging. You guys are hoping to get to that point, of course, where it's like, hey, man, we want those freshmen to push, but we also want it to be really hard for them to come in and play too. So talk a little
Right.
bit about kind of how you're building your class, like as you guys look ahead to the class of 26, the class of 27, sort of like now looking ahead. Now that you kind of have had a little bit of a look, and I know you're still early with the fall, but just kind of evaluating your current needs and just kind of in general, like how do you guys kind of have a vision for what your recruiting philosophy is going to be looking ahead?
I'd say we've probably spent 80% of our time junior college guys.
Okay. Yep.
Um, as you know, Texas junior college is really good.
Very
Um,
fertile.
Region 5 and Region 14 got some guys that can go, and
Mm-hmm.
we spent a lot of time on those guys. But kind of just our vision is we're going to build it. We're going to try to build it through the middle young. We're a little bit late because once again, July 31st, we're kind of late to the game on 26s,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and so we're kind of try to build it through the middle for pitching, shortstop, catcher, young, and then go junior college around those guys.
Mm-hmm.
This first year, it might be a little bit different. We might go wait till the 27 class to go find a catcher that can do it, or a shortstop that can do it, or a center fielder. Obviously, there's still some arms out there. Hopefully, we can get some yeses here shortly, but it's going to be junior college heavy, and then build it around some young pieces. We're fortunate we're in the Houston area, and there's some really talented players. So we'll build it. We'll start local, and then build with the Texas JUCO around it.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys kind of feel like your recruiting base is kind of mostly that Texas area? Do you have some guys on the roster currently, or maybe plans to maybe see some guys out a little bit further away? Are there some other pockets or other pipelines that have you maybe historically come to Prairie View that have been outside of that Texas area?
Absolutely. Spent some time in Atlanta this
Yeah,
fall,
yeah.
Chicago, and
Mm-hmm.
Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, at some different events. We're going to work. We're going to get out and try to see as much
Mm-hmm.
as we can,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what you got to do to find the good players. And part of it too is getting it built up to where it's, in your in your area, it's a
Yeah.
respected brand, and people
Mm-hmm.
want to come here, and we understand that too. So
Mm-hmm.
um, going out and finding the right guys that are baseball players, that
Mm-hmm.
are winners, that come from good programs.
Yeah.
And once again, we're just checking a lot of junior college stuff off again. That's going to be paramount in this first class.
Absolutely. Now, a lot of good history in the SWAC, right? And with Prairie View and some of the other programs in the conference there, a lot of good history, very kind of unique, obviously culture with the HBCUs and so forth. You've been there about a month or so, but where do you kind of see that playing in as far as kind of the recruiting pitch, or just kind of where you can kind of see guys coming in to say, hey man, you can make an impact here. This is a great place. This is a unique kind of opportunity. Not just on the baseball side of things, but maybe from that culture, from that campus sort of perspective. Talk a little bit about how that's a big play, for why Prairie View is a place for guys to look at.
I was really surprised when I walked
Mm,
on campus. Number one, with the programs we provide on the education side of it,
mm-hmm,
especially for the male student athlete, like it's big engineering
mm-hmm,
school, big
mm-hmm,
business school, agriculture, construction science. Like we can check some boxes there as far as baseball players go. And the campus is beautiful. And then from our facilities, like it's turf, padded walls. We got track, man,
mm-hmm,
Rapsodos. Every hitter gets their own blast motion. Uh, we have all the tech, 643 charts, aware. We have everything we need as far as a Division I program goes. Now we just need to find the right guys. And I
mm-hmm.
think with the coaching staff we have in place, not only on the recruiting side of it, I think we can really coach. So
Yeah.
if we can get them on camp, like we were talking about that in our recruiting meeting yesterday, if we can get them on campus and they can actually see it, feel it, touch it,
Mm-hmm.
get around us, I think we'll have some success. So um, it's just getting them here and,
Well,
and
and
let
with
them
some of the
feel it and touch it.
roster, absolutely, and with some of the roster limits, some of the changes that are happening around college baseball, happening around Division One, there's going to be a little bit of that trickle down effect, right? Which
100%.
programs like yourselves probably should benefit some from that, right?
Yes.
Guys that maybe would have been at the bottom of the roster at some of those, maybe traditionally power four type of programs may end up trickling down a little bit. So how do you kind of see sort of the changing landscape around Division One and kind of the way rosters are going to be built, potentially really benefiting you guys?
I think I see it a lot in the arms. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's some kids that I think 5, 6 years ago would have been a no doubt 25% project at a
Mm-hmm.
big brand.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're not. And it's good for us. It's really good for junior college.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the number one thing that jumps out on the screen to me is like how is the 6'4" righty that strikes are good enough, that's 88 touching
Mm-hmm.
92, how is that dude still floating around? And
Mm-hmm.
you see it everywhere. And then I think a lot of bats are getting passed on and people are going older,
Yep.
older on that. Even at
Yep.
you saw some guys at LSU last year that were junior college guys at Tennessee. Like those are big brands that go get whatever they want, the portal or freshman
Mm-hmm.
class, and they're dipping into it too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the big piece I see is it's and you see it. It's not only baseball. I think you see it in college basketball as well. Everybody's going old.
Yep. Yep.
Everybody, we have X amount of hours. If I don't have to spend as much time talking about double cuts, that'd be fantastic, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
And I think that's the trickle down effect that high school guys just need to be aware of and educate themselves on. And I would challenge them to educate themselves on, like you brought up Division II. Like I watched Central Missouri play, and that game's getting played at 93, 95 miles an hour,
Mm-hmm.
and they can hit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those levels are really good too.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, you even look at like an East Texas Baptist, right, and
Yes,
Trinity, and some of those
1,000%.
at the Division III level. There's some powerhouses, man. There's dudes that throw 90 at a lot of those programs as well. Now, I mean, I played Division III ball late 90s, early 2000s. The level of
Yep.
play has probably grown exponentially even since the days that I was at a place like that for sure. So
The game's getting crazy. Just the velocity, the bigger, stronger,
mm-hmm.
faster. It's
Mm-hmm.
and you've seen it across the board.
Yeah.
I think LSU Shreveport,
Mm-hmm.
I would
Undefeated.
say that might be outside of LSU Division I national champions. I think that might have been the second best pitching staff in the state.
You're
And
probably not wrong.
there's plenty of good teams in that state.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Now going back to you were talking a little bit about kind of the the recruiting and kind of looking at kind of the philosophy there. I'm curious, when you think about and when you guys have been talking as a staff as well, but when you guys kind of think about what does a guy for us look like? When you think about, all right, we see a player at a showcase or at a camp or we're at a tournament and we're evaluating players, what stands out, what jumps out, what are you guys looking at on paper? What are you looking for in the makeup and the physicality? Just kind of give a little breakdown in sort of what a Division One, Prairie View A&M type of guy looks like.
I think we love athletic
Hmm.
athleticism and physicality is a big piece for us. We have to get more athletic. We got to get a little bit more physical. And I think that's going to be across the board in Division One. Bigger, stronger, faster is what plays. But the makeup's going to be a big piece for us too. Like guys, we can trust that we think are baseball players that are going to continue to develop and 2-3 years down the road be all conference players for us. That's what we're looking for. And keep going back to it, but a lot of those guys go figure that out in junior college. So we'll hammer that and try to build it through the middle young. And that's kind of our vision of getting this place where it needs to be.
It's not all about metrics, but when you kind of think about sort of that, all right, foot in the door kind of metric. Our families have a lot of questions about like, all right, man, like I want to get recruited by these schools or that schools. And we know it's not all about the metrics, but when you're thinking about like, hey, sort of like your baseline, yeah, that's a foot in the door kind of metric. Just give some general sort of like, yeah, this is the kind of thing that if you want to get some initial maybe follow up from us, we probably need to kind of see some of this as far as like velos and 60 times and so forth. What kind of are the sort of the ranges you look at to get started?
Depends on position.
Mm-hmm.
Outfielders would probably like it to be sub 7.
Mm-hmm.
Center field's obviously going to be a little different. That's probably 6'6" or better at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I think being an HBCU, we shouldn't have any problem with any stuff like that. Infielder wise, like it needs to be at the Division One level. It needs to be 84 at the very low end across. Just because home to first times, like it's going to get going quick. The ball needs to be at first base in 3.9 or better type of deal. Exit velo, especially for freshmen, I don't like to get too caught up into it. If we can get down to specifics, I think the bats, like the barrel speed needs to be 60 plus. That kind of shows you a guy has enough strength to step in and at least handle the bat. And then I wouldn't get lost in some of the old school metrics, like guys that walk more than they strike out and flash some juice. Like those are guys that are intriguing to me. And then same thing on the mound. You can project out a little bit, but the game's getting played in the 90s now. Like there needs to be at least a flash of arm strength into the upper eights for us to really go. And if not, it needs to be a different look or something like that. And now we're talking to where that's when the money starts getting a little bit different.
Yep. Absolutely. Now, when you kind of go back to kind of looking at, the whole picture, when you guys are looking at, evaluating, putting together recruits, how do the academics play into it? How important are the academics for you guys? Like, are there certain, GPA or test score kind of numbers that are like, hey, man, we got to have guys there. Is there some wiggle room for the baseball guys? Like, just kind of talk about like how that plays into, the evaluation of a potential recruit as well.
It's huge for us. Number one, we talked about makeup earlier. That's kind of the first piece on the resume that you can present us is, and I'm not too worried about test scores. I'm more worried about, did you turn your stuff in on time? Did you show enough effort to turn it in on time? So that's kind of where we're at with that. But as far as Sorry, he walked in on me.
That's all right.
Where was that?
Like academics, the GPA and test scores and some of those things. Like when you're looking at the recruits, if you're getting some
Yes.
information, if you're
Okay,
seeing
I
guys,
got you.
yeah, that's all right. I mean, how does that play into it?
Um, it's big for us. As you know, NCAA went to baseball. Division I went to 34 full rides.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, here at Prairie View A&M, the money truck didn't show up.
Mm-hmm.
So how we're going to make our money go the farthest is, we got to provide academic scholarships, and fortunately, we've got a good base of that.
Mm-hmm.
But for us to package the best deal for you, you know, uh, a 3.0 or better. Obviously, it's all scaled. Um, the higher the GPA, the better. The higher the test score, the better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's scaled up like that.
But that's very
Well,
important, especially if you're comparing two guys. If two guys are similar, but one guy's got better grades, you're probably leaning towards the guy with the better grades, right?
absolutely. If
Yep.
it kind of expedites the process. Like
Mm-hmm.
if we feel like we can get the kid for X amount of money, and maybe because it all comes, especially if you're a hitter and you're
Mm-hmm.
not a catcher or a shortstop. Like there's probably not a whole lot of, unless you're going to a power force, where there's not a whole lot of full ride opportunities out there for
Mm-hmm.
you to get that thing as close to full and graduate with as little debt as possible. Your test scores and your GPA, like that stuff really
Yeah.
matters in
Yeah.
baseball.
Absolutely.
Um,
Good stuff. Now, when you think about, sort of like looking ahead, as you guys are kind of thinking about, kind of building the program and, the goals that you guys have there, Division I is extremely competitive. Texas, there's obviously a huge number of Division I programs, a lot of, different, kind of competitive levels and so forth, but when you guys are thinking about, sort of the steps that you want to take, like when you think about kind of long-term goals, I mean, what are some of like the kind of the early goals, early steps you want to take? And then what are some of the longer term goals that you guys see as a program like this is what we're really aiming for?
so for the short term, I think this year we'd like to get to the SWAC tournament. They've
Mm-hmm.
missed the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have a roster that if we do stuff right and we can buy in to all the little things,
Mm-hmm.
we'll get to where we need to be, type of deal. So on the short term SWAC tournament, as far as in the next 4 to 5 years, we'd like to be in a regional,
Mm-hmm.
and we think we can put together a roster that has a chance to make a little noise.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna come out and say we're gonna be in Omaha in the next 5 years, but we think we can, the way with our coaching staff and our location and the way
Mm-hmm.
we're going to work and get after recruiting, that in the next 3 to 4 years, hopefully we have an opportunity, a roster that's talented enough to win the SWAC tournament and play
And
in
the
a regional.
reality is like to make that longer run, to have that type of run, we see schools that have done that. Murray State last year, some different programs like that
Right.
that can make those. But the reality is for guys like yourselves who are in usually like a one bid kind of league, you got to take that
1,000%.
first step. You got to win the conference. We got to get to the regional and then see where it takes us, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. You got to play your best baseball
Yep.
last week of the season. That's
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Whether it be, and you can't be naive to that. It
Yep.
is what it is. Like I think Lamar a couple of years ago won like 47 games or
Mm-hmm.
43 games and didn't make a regional.
Mm-hmm.
They beat some pretty good teams in those midweek games, and
Yeah.
so you can't. We're in the SWAC, like it's a one bid league.
Mm-hmm.
You got to play your best baseball in May.
Yep, absolutely, good stuff. Now, how important are camps for you guys? Right? Are you guys getting some camps put together? How important is that for like seeing guys, evaluating players? Talk about kind of how the camps are going to play into some of that.
We got our first one coming up this Sunday, actually.
Oh, cool.
And it's important for us. Like my first gig at Hutchinson Community College, a kid named Michael Hellman came to camp. Invite guy that kind of a late bloomer,
Mm-hmm.
and all Mike did was earn a scholarship to Hutchinson Community College on that camp. Led the league in hitting as a freshman. Turned down 90% to K-State to come back, only to be the national player of the year and go on to lead the SEC and hits a Texas A&M. So with that being like my second year in college baseball, seeing what camp can do, like I would, if you got a place that you think fits you, go to camp. You're going to get in front of the head coach, number one, the position coach, and if you want to go show somebody you want to be there, then nothing says it like going to camp. So making sure we provide opportunities for the metro area of Houston to get over here, and we want guys that want to be here too. So we're gonna have several of them throughout the fall and summer, and it'll be a big piece. It'll be a big piece for us.
Awesome. And for a lot of our families, sometimes a lot of their questions are around, man, we get all these camp invites from all these places. They do have to do their homework, right? And make sure, hey, that is a place you want to be at. That is a place you could potentially fit at, right? Like get some feedback, don't show up at a place if you're not quite the guy they're looking for. But as you said, if you're a guy that really wants to be there, you guys truly are evaluating players at those camps. They're not, there's not just a money maker. Like you're really evaluating players at those camps for sure.
And I think I love PBR, and I think there's a time and place, but if you're not, if you're playing football and going to PBR events, are you putting your best stuff out there? I think that, and these generally, like our camp is, $75 to $100 depending on pitcher or hitter. So if you see yourself at a certain spot with your skill level and have those honest conversations with people and be okay with people saying, hey man, Tennessee is not for you. I think you should go here, and here. I would say that's really good advice. Go somewhere where you're going to get on the field, develop, play. But I think the big piece is making sure you're getting in front of the head coach. And if it's the right fit, it's the right fit type of deal. And a lot of times those guys we will be completely honest with you where we see you're at, what you think, what you need to get better at, the whole nine, and just be all right with those criticisms and understand that, we were all in those shoes at some point. We all have deficiencies. We all have stuff we need to get better at. And so I think camp's one that gets underrated, especially now with social media and different platforms out there. It kind of gets thrown to the wayside. And I think pick out a couple schools and go to camp and see what those guys have to say.
Good stuff. And also in regards to Division I specifically, we talk about the recruiting calendar for our guys a lot. Just a couple of days ago, you guys are now in a quiet period, so you're not able to go off campus and evaluate anybody yet. Till March. So literally, if a guy wants to get seen by you guys, it's got to be on campus, right? So that even for Division I makes it even more important that the camps are something they definitely consider in this off season. So absolutely. Awesome, Coach. Just a few more minutes, man. I appreciate the time. I'm getting used to it. I got that text on our teamworks the other day. We've now entered quiet period. I got to go make sure I cut off on my rules. Junior college, you just come and go as you please. Heck yeah. I'm actually running a workshop tonight about the recruiting rules and calendars and breaking it down for all the division levels. And that's exactly right, man. Division I, you got a whole page of like dates and things. And JUCO, go take him out to lunch, man. It's all good.
Yeah, that's right. You got it in the budget.
You got it. Just a couple other questions here, Coach, before we wrap up, man. So, as you guys are kind of looking ahead here and, again, looking ahead towards this season, but you're also looking at like your recruiting sort of activities that you're going to be taking. Just some advice for families in the recruiting process. What are some things they can be doing to put themselves in the best position? What are some red flags that have stood out to you, in your interaction in the past, or even, now you're here even at Prairie View, but even in the past as well around just sort of like, ooh, that's something that we don't want to see, from a recruiter, from a family. Just some advice, some things that families can do to put themselves in the best position.
I would say moms and dads in the stands, number one, be mindful of what's around you. Understand that, baseball's hard. Things aren't always going to go our way. Be careful what you say, because that stuff happens more often than you think. At the Division I level, there's a time and a place for advisors, and be smart who you go with, because I think there's a lot of bad advice getting thrown around right now. I think some decisions are getting made about all the wrong things. and it's not what's best for your career. I think $15,000 today is spit in a bucket when it comes to what could be
Mm-hmm.
down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So align yourself with quality people, and it goes back to, once again, be willing to listen to your deficiencies and what I need to get better at, and the makeup of it, and all that good stuff. But those two are probably the biggest that
Cool.
kind of you see on an everyday basis.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And with you guys recruiting a lot of junior college players, the reality for you guys is a lot of your communication probably is more directly with the player, in those cases too.
100%.
But with the high school kids and some of obviously the families are going to be a little bit more involved in that recruiting. How often do you want to hear from recruits? How often is it helpful for you to get updates? How often is it helpful for them to send you a new video or to reach out or keep in touch with you? You've probably got a pretty big list, a big whiteboard, right? Yeah.
Right.
So how do these recruits, put themselves in the best position to just kind of stay on your radar and keep you updated on their progress?
Yeah, for me, I like to have an open line of communication. As soon
Yeah.
as I make the phone call and kind of lay out, if you're interested, yada yada, we get the transcript in and we get you submitted and all that good stuff. Like, you go out and you hit a double and a bomb, feel free, send it over, man.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what we see, or if you're struggling or whatever. I like to have an open line of communication. I'm good with all that. And as we got a whiteboard full. I got a family at home. There's some days where I might just forget. If you got a question, feel free to reach out. And I mean, as long as it's in about baseball and all that good stuff, I think most guys will be willing and able to get with you at some point, at least.
It's better.
The beautiful thing about text messaging now, it's like everybody's, when we're rolling up, nobody's ripping off those text messages that cost money. You got
That's
100
right.
a month, but now it's shoot a text and I'll get with you in 30 minutes, 2 hours, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. And from your perspective, and this is something that we hear from almost every college coach, it's better to err on the side of over communicating, right? Rather than going too quiet. Like if all of a sudden I'm not hearing from a recruit, if I'm a coach, I'm going to be wondering I wonder if this guy's still interested in us, right? Or I wonder where he's gone. So it's better to err on the side of over communication. Coaches want to hear from guys. It's usually not something that's annoying. It's part of your job, right? It's part of what you're getting paid to do is talk to these recruits and help get them on campus, right?
And I try to just, honesty is the best policy. Like, if my head guy comes in and says, "Hey, let's pump the brakes on him."
Mm-hmm.
We gotta see what happens here. Yeah. Right. I try to just tell you that straight up. And if we lose out, we lose out. You got to do you got to make the best decision for you. I may love you, but he may say, "Okay, well, I think we can slow play that and see what's in the portal." I'm just going to let you know transparently, here's where we're at. Here's what we're doing. I still love you. I'm going to still be in communication with you. But, if somebody comes calling and it's the right opportunity, it's the right fit, then take it. That's just kind of part of the business. We've all had those guys that slip away, and you look back and you're like, "Coach, I told you so." But it's just part of it. So just open line of communication. I would err on the side of over communication, because at the end of the day, when you get to that school, you're going to want to be able to go sit down in the office and talk about whatever's going on in life, because it gets thrown at you quick when you're 18 years old. You go a couple hours away from home, and it may not even be baseball, So making sure you can go do that's, I think, paramount.
Awesome. Great stuff. Well, Coach, it's been an awesome conversation. I appreciate the time here today. I would love to get you back on again some point. Maybe we can talk hitting or get something, get a topic
Absolutely.
up and get chatting on that. But man, good luck with the rest of the fall, and I'm sure we'll be in communication with you guys here. Okay.
All right, Andy. Appreciate you having me.
Awesome. Good stuff.